I want to welcome you to a conversation with Orr Rose and Greg Mobley and myself about the Center for Interreligious and Communal Leadership Education, or CIRCLE, a joint initiative between Hebrew College and Andover Newton.
I feel like we are the beneficiaries of a vibrant community. The presidents of Hebrew College and Andover Newton provided us with a context by placing our schools side by side on this hilltop. Then the students began to engage intensively together, informally. At various moments, different constituents within our community have taken the lead and have inspired others to deepen the relationship between Andover Newton and Hebrew College.
We have named this event, and we've had it for a few years now, but we call it a Sukkah of Peace event. It's an interfaith celebration between our two schools, between Andover Newton and Hebrew College.
The peace that's going to be at the end of time. There's going to be a place where all of us can dwell together. And I just kept thinking of this scripture passage from the Hebrew Bible that everyone will dwell in peace beneath their own vine and fig tree. And so
one of the pioneers in this work was E.D. Howe. E.D. was a lawyer in a firm in downtown Boston. On that horrible day of 9/11, she looked out her window and felt that she needed to devote the rest of her life to healing the brokenness among the religious people of the world.
I think there's sort of a common intuition almost that religions should be at the forefront of healing the breaches between us, not sources of strife and conflict. And I think we're getting a lot of students at Hebrew College and Andover Newton who have been out in the world, who are coming from second careers perhaps, with this strong sense of drive to dig into the resources of their own traditions and find within them a sort of voice and vision for how their faith can help lead them towards these initiatives that are healing and mending.
You know, the one piece of interfaith work that feels really crucial to me comes out of an experience in the hospital where I worked as a chaplain this past summer. Primarily, I was a Jewish chaplain working with and caring for non-Jewish patients, and at the most critical, most important moments in their lives. So that included a sudden onset of injury or disease. And the both surprising and wonderful piece of that is once I was able to move into those spaces and with confidence and allow myself to engage them, there was an incredible openness to having me as their chaplain, even though we come from different faith traditions. So there's for me, that was one of the most powerful experiences doing interfaith work.
Being a Circle Fellow has given me many insights into Christian tradition that I would not have thought of before. And I think that is one of the strengths in general of interreligious dialogue, is that as you go more deeply into your own tradition and engage other traditions, it becomes an interconnected process and a dynamic of moving back and forth that I find very deeply rewarding, both intellectually, emotionally, psychologically. Like, it is building a foundation, I think, for me, for future work.
One of the worries that I hear from theological educators or from people in the larger communities of Andover Newton Hebrew College is, will this interfaith experiment lead somehow to the watering down of Christianity or Judaism?
I think that when you're in conversation with people who don't share maybe the same set of assumptions, the same set of language terms, you need to be more careful and thoughtful in how you articulate the places in your faith tradition where you really connect, the places where you can say, this is my faith.
We're not interested in constructing Judeo-Christianity or some Abrahamic monotheopoly of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. What we're discovering is knowing about the other faith makes you a better Jew, a better Christian, and we have significant set of Unitarian Universalists here, and we're discovering them becoming more articulate about their own theology, which isn't always the strong suit of a great religious movement which prides itself on social justice.
I would say there are definitely more parallels with Judaism and UUism than there are with UUism and Christianity, which is interesting because Unitarian Universalism came out of Christianity. You know, for example, our worship format is still very Christian in its origins. We still sing hymns, even though we've rewritten them. We still do sermons, so it's an interesting, the parallels to both different.
I like to be able to hear a different perspective than my own and be able to learn from that. And I feel like it's okay to say, I hear you, what you believe is truth in some way, but it's not my truth.
What you find is that by going up against somebody who has a different perspective than you and a different belief system than you, you actually find a lot of times that you're owning your own faith more, having to find new ways to express it, new ways to explain it. So in fact, what I found personally, and many people have expressed this in my time at Circle and with interfaith work, that what they find is their faith is deepened.
I think education is an important piece, and learning how serious people read the same words on a page and have a very different experience of that is enlightening. It doesn't mean that I need to read the words in the same way they do, but anytime you engage in study and learning and bring new aspects out, it enriches the experience.
I think what I really appreciate about this model is that it really foregrounds relationships. And I think we've come to agree that the possibility for conversation is so much richer and deeper when you know who you're talking to.
There are a variety of different ways to engage in what is broadly called interfaith dialogue. One of the great advantages that we have here on our Faith Hill is proximity and the possibility of students, faculty, and administrators working together on an ongoing basis.
If we're charged with bringing the Torah of interfaith down from the hill, you can be Moses, you're Miriam, I don't want to be Aaron. Can I be Jethro? Now, the beautiful opportunity before us, which we dare not pass up, is interfaith learning between Jews and Christians. But we're totally interested in learning from other faiths, and this is where we begin. This is the situation we've been given, but we're hoping what we're learning is transferable, that eventually there will be docks in this harbor for other communities so that we can continue to learn about each other in relationship.